Welcome to Inside the Scary Mind of a Writer, and I'm Adina Lev, the writer. Today I'm going to be talking about editing. Editing is the bane of my existence as a writer. It's a necessary bane, but it's still a bane. Consider, I've written the story. I've gotten the characters tight. I know the sounds of their voices. I know what makes them tick. I've got the plot. I've got the plot twist. I've got everything. All the loose ends are done. I've reread it. I've gone through spell check and grammar check. I'm ready. Then I take it to my editor. I give it to her. Here, book. And my primary editor is Dr. Hilary Gerald. She is a veterinarian by trade, but she is a researcher at heart. And I love Hillary, truly. She gets my thought process and she doesn't think I'm weird and she laughs at my jokes. Hillary is the best editor friend you could ask for. Problem having a researcher edit your books is she can crawl into every detail. Whenever I hand her a book, I hand her the book and a box of red pens. And I swear she uses every red pen. Every Indian law, there was not a page that she did not bleed on. And where some people might find that very daunting, I found it challenging because I learned some of the basic things I should have known that she said, this is common and this should have been done like this, and your grammar program didn't pick up on it. And so she handed it back to me, and I not only did her changes, but she pointed out, well, this character could expand a little bit, don't you think? And that expansion led to 2 or 3 more chapters, and I had to do another loop in. I said, oh, I can do this plot twist. Nobody will see coming. So after I'm done with that, I give it back to her, highlight the changes. She goes through the changes, and voila. Give it to my next editor, Alexis Hurd. Now, mind you, my books are target age mid 20s to mid late 50s. Alexis is in that 20-30 range. So I make her go through it. I don't make her, I ask her to go through it. And she reads it and she makes sure that the characters that are in her age frame are true to their age. You don't want a young person, somebody in their 30s, sounding like they're in their 50s. So she goes through it and she does the changes and she makes suggestions or notes or finds errors that I incorporate in the editing. So then I give it to Lakina Morris. Now Lakina is my age and she likes my writing. She likes my stories, and she goes through it and she makes sure that the characters who are our age are saying the things that they don't sound too young and they don't sound like they're merging characters. So she sends me her changes. And with Indian law, see, shameless plug right there. With Indian law, I went through it 3 times before I gave it to Hillary. After Hillary bled all over it, I went through, made those changes, and went through it again. Gave it to Alexis. Alexis went through it. I incorporated her changes, went through it again. And same with Lakina. So we're talking 6, 7 times for me going through this book. And I was ready. I was pumped. Okay, I've got this mad, crazy story. I'm ready to publish it. And as I'm doing the last go through, I'm just flipping through, flipping through. And it occurred to me, flip, flip back, flip, flip. Holy crack on a cracker! The chapters are misnumbered on this whole section. So now I have to go back through every chapter to make sure that those chapters line up. And it seems like such a small detail, but I would notice if I'm reading a book, suddenly chapter 12, and I jump to chapter 18, what the hell happened to these other chapters? Details. And that's the importance of editing, is to go through and find the details and make sure that everything makes sense. And that ties into the next subject, continuity. The continuity of the characters is so important because you can't have a character who likes coffee suddenly hating coffee 6 chapters later and then jump back to liking coffee. So continuity, days of the week, color of clothes, towns. One publisher told me that she had been reading a book and that it was a well-known author. And in this book, the chapter started, they were in a particular town. And 5 or 6 chapters later, there was a different town. And this publisher says she went back, reread it, and no, The characters never moved towns, never changed locations. The writer didn't check the continuity for the towns. So those are the things that you have to pay attention to as a story writer. And since it is called Inside the Scary Mind of a Writer, one of the things that I do as I go along in my day-to-day life, I see something and I let it just go. Let me see what happened with this. And so, like in My Family is Everything, when I saw the storage facility, I said, that could really be a good story. Kind of scary. Yeah, living there. And if you read My Family is Everything, you will see that it's scary in that area. So the other day, I'm driving down the road and I see one of these big farming trucks filled to the brim with pine straw. In North Carolina, pine straw is used all over as a kind of mulch. The problem with pine straw is it is highly flammable. So we're passing by, and I'm sitting next to this truck idling at a light, and I'm looking, and I'm thinking to myself, all somebody's really got to do is flick a cigarette in there, and that truck will just go poof. And then you've got this rolling truck. And think about it. What if the guy got out of the truck and didn't engage the brake when he saw the flames flying out of the truck? And now you've got this big truck just driving along the highway, fully engulfed. And yeah, these are the things that go through my mind that make my husband go, you're scary. So I may not use that in this book. I may not use 100 of the other things that just run rampant in my mind in a book, but I'll file away for some other story some other time. And it'll just be a detail that you didn't see coming, but it may have been in my brain all this time. So that will be the end of today's chapter. This has been Inside the Scary Mind of a Writer. And if you like my page, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, tell me why. If you want to know other things, if you want to ask questions, please ask them. I read the comments. Yes, I am still at that obsessive stage of being a blogger where how many views did I get? Did I get any shares? Did anybody make a comment? So please leave comments, leave questions, and I will do my best to answer them. So until next week, this has been Inside the Scary Mind of a Writer, and I'm Adina Lev, the writer.